Crack. Open. What you drinking, Richard?
That's a fucking Bud Light seltzer. Mango Mai Tai.
Mango Mai Tai. I'm drinking a watermelon mojito Bud Light seltzer. You're listening to Zero Drunk 30, where we have great discussions over what, even better drinks? Maybe in this case, maybe worse drinks.
Worse drinks.
Worse drinks, better discussions.
Probably one of the better seltzers out there. It's better than White Claw.
Yeah. It's more creative than White Claw, that's for sure.
It's definitely just tastier than White Claw. But yeah, creative discussions about movies, whatever the fuck we want to talk about, while drinking and getting more inebriated as the hour or hours go on.
That is Zero Drunk 30 in a nutshell, for sure. Don't forget to, obviously, you know what they say on YouTube, subscribe, like, thumbs up, all the goodies.
Comment down below how much you want to punch people whenever they say that type of shit.
Hey, but you almost feel like you had to say it, but...
You kind of have to say it nowadays, because that's what makes people want to do things, you know, they have to be told what to do.
So you better fucking like it. Subscribe.
Which is basically saying, like, what the whole industry is talking about right now, which is Cinemacon.
Yep, so this episode, what are we covering? We're covering Candyman, but before we get to Candyman, we're going over, well, she's going to tell me as we go, pretty much.
So we got Cinemacon, which is like the best new fucking thing, but I just heard about recently, which if I ever get to go, I'm going to try and go.
Yeah, because that sounds like the E3 of movies.
It's the E3 of movies, yeah. It's the largest, most important gathering of movie theater owners from around the world, so it's like owners of movie theaters getting together and discussing movies and what they're going to be showing.
So it's just, I don't even think, are tickets even open to the public?
Probably not.
I think it's just...
But one day I will get in there.
I think you have to be a credentialed boy to get in there.
I will get in there, no matter what. It's my time. All I have to go is, I just have to go to Las Vegas.
Hey, maybe sometimes we'll be considered part of the industry, and we'll tell the Zero Drunk 30 boys, come and watch the first 10 minutes of Mission Impossible 7. Whatever, I know, we're pretty prestigious, but...
So they showed Ghostbusters.
So is that what we're starting with?
Yeah.
Alright.
So they showed Ghostbusters Afterlife. That was like the main thing that I wanted to go over.
Did they show the whole movie? They showed just the...
They showed the whole movie.
What happened? What are those...
What happened?
I have my fingers crossed. I hope it's a good reaction.
What happened? Everyone that saw it was saying great things about it. There was nobody on the Twitter that was saying horrible things about the movie. They were saying it filled all expectations about nostalgia, right? So it gave you goosebumps. It hit all the perfect notes. Paul Rudd is fucking fantastic, which we all know Paul Rudd's going to be great.
He seemed like a natural fit for that movie.
Almost like
he seemed like a natural fit. He seems like if you were to make the Ghostbusters again today and like recast them, and I'm not saying recast them as women in 2016 and make it by Paul Feig, but he seems like a natural choice for someone that you would pick as a Ghostbuster. Now from everything I've seen, it doesn't sound like he's gonna be suiting up in the movie, but he sounds like, I think he's a biology teacher or science teacher.
He is a teacher that is helping out with Texas owns McKenna Grace's Phoebe, that's her name in the movie, and she's Econ's granddaughter, I believe, or just granddaughter.
Yeah, I think just granddaughter. Yeah.
So she gets helped by Paul Rudd, and Paul Rudd, if you have seen the trailer, spoiler alert, he gets attacked by
mini marshmallows.
Stay Puffs.
Mini Stay Puffs. Yeah, he seemed like I sound like a broken record, but he did seem like a natural. He seems like his job in that movie is to tie the children, the new cast, to the old cast. He seems like the person. Yes. I think in the trailer he's sitting there saying that people like forgot about what happened, or people don't really believe what happened back in the 80s that happened with the original Ghostbusters in New York City. So people like have kind of just either like, oh, that's fake news, or poo-pooed it off, or just kind of
just completely forgot about it, which is almost a plot line to Ghostbusters 2, which with that was like a 6-year difference and people already forgotten about them. So it's like it's doing it over again.
A big old marshmallow chomping through New York City, and somehow people forget.
It's only that people forget new heroes come up, and Ghostbusters 2 was He-Man.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, so He-Man became popular and all the kids were like, screw ghosts, you know, better.
Yeah, Ghostbusters 2 is definitely not as good as Ghostbusters 1, but it's definitely better than Ghostbusters 2016.
Which Ghostbusters 2016 is definitely not better than the Ghostbusters video game.
Is it? Oh no, it's not, because isn't the Ghostbusters video game considered the third?
It's considered the third movie. It's considered to be like the best version of what the third movie could have been with all the old actors. With Bill Murray,
the most
Dan
natural
Aykroyd.
third movie ever. Yeah, when they were all still young enough to run around and.
Yeah. Well, they were, the voice acting, right? So,
yeah.
It was a great game. If you haven't played it,
I haven't played it, but I should play it because it's everything I probably want, because I know it's written by Harold Ramis, voiced by it's literally if they made a third movie but said let's just put it in video game.
It continues the storyline from 1 and 2 whenever you have a gosh, this is a deep cut, but like the dude who made the hotel in Ghostbusters 1. He goes it's like Spangor almost. It's like it's almost like
it's oh man,
I'm gonna have to look it up.
I know it's
Igor something. I'm positive.
Well, Egon is
it's not,
I don't it's I'll let you search that up. But yeah, Cinemacon, they've showed the whole movie and they're saying positive stuff, which is music to my ears because I'm very apprehensive about this Ghostbusters movie. I want everything I read and see about it makes me think I'm gonna like it, but I don't know. I guess the 2016 movie has kind of just made me a little cynical on any future Ghostbuster properties, Ghostbusters content. What are you finding over there?
Ivo Shandor.
Ivan Shandor.
Who,
oh, man.
Of course.
Ivan Shandor.
Ivo Shandor. Who, of course, like, has been experiencing some technical difficulties, folks.
Sounds like someone's turning on something down there.
It's going hard. It's going deep. We might be being haunted.
All right,
as we
Richard's
speak.
gonna talk to you while I fix this.
We might be being haunted as we speak, ladies and gentlemen. It's like we started talking about Ghostbusters and ghosts are showing up. It's just a jackhammer. It's like someone is like doing something on the streets of New York. Like we're hearing it and we're hearing it live, and it's so much fun. And it's gone, and it's like a whisper, and it's like a wisp in the fucking ears of the whole entire audience. What happened?
Spirits, ghouls, and ghosts.
Spirits, ghouls, and ghosts. Ghosts and ghouls, spirits just going at you.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah, it was...
had to turn the air compressor off and decided to want to turn on right in the middle of our spooky Ghostbusters conversation.
So it was Ivo Shandor who, summoned Vigo the Carpathian.
Vigo the Carpathian! I love that.
So that's something that, maybe we'll get some more information about Shandor. I'm pretty sure actually it said Shandor's Mines, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the trailer, so that's...
There's gonna be some...
There's a lot of Ghostbusters lore that you don't really know about unless you, really look into it. Because Dan Aykroyd is a crazy motherfucker.
I'm curious to see, is the movie nostalgic in that it's directly tied to the original movies and what the original movies happened, some influence this movies, or is it nostalgic as in like, here's an Easter egg of the Stay Puft marshmallows, there they are, or here's Shandor as the reign of the ranch or whatever, the mine. I hope it's the previous. I hope stuff directly. I hope Rick Moranis pops up. I hope stuff directly from those movies comes into these movies.
I do.
And it's not just like, remember Stay Puft? Here he is.
Great.
Remember the car? Here it is.
Yeah.
It's but if people are saying good things about it,
everyone that I saw has been saying great things about it.
It's trending in the right direction.
Speaking of nostalgia, The Matrix.
That is very nostalgic.
They released their 13-minute trailer or something like that.
I think they released like a 13-minute
It was
preview.
like a demo almost of what's going to happen in December.
And what did that demo show?
The demo showed Neo basically forgetting who he is. He's talking to a agent who is played by Neil Patrick Harris. And Neo...
So weird, but
Neo is shown not knowing who he is because he's stuck, in the fucking Matrix again, and he's taking blue pills to keep him sane and in the Matrix.
See,
that's what's happening throughout the trailer.
So it's a very meta movie.
It's a very meta movie. And then you meet a young Morpheus, apparently. It's a young Morpheus, so it's not...
That's right, because I heard Lawrence Fishburne is not in this, and he's on record consistently saying, like, they didn't even ask me to come back.
Is that true?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah, I know, I've seen interviews saying, he's saying, I'm not in it, and I wasn't even asked to come back. So, and he says they must be doing something completely different if they don't need me back. Because he said he would have done it.
They have a young version of him. So
interesting.
And that young version hands Neo a red pill, which is exactly a callback to the original The Matrix. But also,
and this one's called, they released a title, right? The Matrix Resurrections? I believe it's called The Matrix Resurrections.
The Matrix.
I think it just, because it continues that whole biblical theme.
Yeah, so it's going, basically Neo is Jesus.
Yeah.
It's Matrix Resurrection, not Resurrections. It's just them. And basically, throughout the trailer, you hear the song, what's that famous fucking hippie song, you know, one pill makes you larger, another makes you small. White Rabbit happens.
Oh,
and so
Jefferson Airplane?
Jefferson Airplane goes on throughout the trailer.
I'm shocked that they haven't used that song in the other 3 movies.
Yeah, well, now they're finally doing it.
Maybe that's the whole reason they made this movie. They're like,
Maybe.
Shit, we never used White Rabbit by Jefferson Airplane. That's like made for this movie. All right, make a 4th one. I do know, and I can't keep up with them right now because I don't know. I know they've transitioned, and I know that's 2 brothers that are now 2 sisters. But I know that I think it's just one of them. I think it's Lana Wachowski. Just one of them is doing this one.
Yeah, Lily is no longer
Lily,
involved.
that's the other one.
Lily is no longer involved with the direction of the film. Yes.
Yeah, I read, because I did read that Lily approved of it and liked it, but said, for my own personal reasons, I don't want to be any part of this.
Yes.
But
basically,
hey, I think they went, how many years since another Matrix movie? So I'm sure they got something interesting written up. Because I know for a while they were kind of adamant about not making another one.
Yeah, they were. But, you know, they had, the sisters, sadly, have had fail after fail after fail recently.
Can't.
Jupiter Ascending.
Yeah.
Exactly,
they also They also made the movie Cloud Atlas, which is, to me, I guess, to me, that's their best thing since The Matrix. I don't know if you can even say that. I can't think. I know a lot of people like that Sense 8 show that they made, but I personally never watched it. But Cloud Atlas is that movie where it's just got a huge cast. It's got Tom Hanks, Hugh Grant, all these people in it, and it's like kind of like it's multiple stories going on at the same time, and that like what happens 1,000 years ago could end up affecting what the future's like, kind of like that butterfly effect stuff.
It's literally the butterfly effect.
Yeah, and it's a bunch of actors.
The novel is the same way.
It's a bunch of actors playing different roles, but they're all descendants of their same character, kind of thing.
Yes, basically.
And I mean, it was interesting. It's long and it's crazy, but I guess that's the best thing they've done since then, in my opinion. I don't know. I did not watch Jupiter Ascending. I'll put that full disclosure. I did not watch that because
it wasn't that good. It was
in
basically
Channing Tatum
and Mila Kunis.
Yeah, losers.
Yeah.
Oof.
So next item on the list, Spencer, the new Princess Di movie. It released a poster, which is a beautiful fucking poster. If you haven't seen it, Kyle, you should look it up.
I will.
It's very beautiful. It touches really on the pain of what Princess Di was going through whenever she was deciding to divorce her king husband,
really,
or her prince husband. And then the trailer. We watched the trailer.
We did watch. We and you watched the trailer before we went and saw Candyman, and me not knowing anything about it. And my gosh, Kristen Stewart really does look like her.
And she almost sounds like her too.
She does. She does. I think she barely
accent.
Speaks in the trailer, but when she does speak, it's pretty powerful. And you're like,
yeah, it's nice.
Oh, that sounds very much like her.
Which is, you know, a thing that most people, a lot of people love to hate Kristen Stewart for no reason at all. Just because of Twilight. But if we're allowed to like,
we love Robert Pattinson now.
Exactly. if we like Robert Pattinson, we should like Kristen Stewart.
She's not. She's probably made some poor film career choices since Twilight, and probably Robert Pattinson's been a little bit more selective. But she's definitely made good movies since then.
She has been.
And she's definitely broken out from her Bella stage.
From her
Twilight stage.
I'm a like emo girl.
Yeah, where she's like
stage,
sitting there
know,
going, yeah, he's sparkly.
He's so
yeah,
cute. Oh my
awkward.
god, I love him.
I'm awkward.
Oh, yeah. How? I don't even know what you're saying. How?
But yeah, when they announced that she was going to be playing Princess Di, I was like, yeesh. Because I'm so used to seeing Kristen Stewart as she is now.
Yeah.
But she's an actress, and she's transformed, and she looks a lot like Princess Di, and seems like she's going to kill the role. I would watch it. I wonder how far in the story they go. Do they go all the way up to the crash? That kills her?
I do not know. I think it's settled on the divorce in general.
Okay.
And that area.
Chances are they don't show that.
Is very powerful and emotional because if you don't know this, Princess Di tried to commit suicide during that era, and she was pregnant with William.
I am no way a royal family expert, so I don't know too much outside of how she died, and I know that she didn't necessarily get along with
the family.
Prince. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I wonder how much. Actually, they probably don't. I wonder how much blessing the royal family has given this movie, if at all. They're probably gonna just show them in not a great light, honestly.
Not in a great light at all, probably. But this is. I guess they like The Crown.
Yeah.
The Crown shows them in a terrible light, almost.
I don't know. Who cares? Screw. I don't know. I could care less about the royal family, really. But the most interesting thing to me is Princess Diana. So, obviously, I will watch the movie.
Well, speaking of the Queen, there's No Time to Die. The new James Bond film, Queen. Honestly, what's up with you, chick? You're fucking like, you're almost 100. She's almost 100, right? She's 90.
Who?
The fucking Queen.
The Queen?
She's old.
She's old. She's really old. I saw this collage of her meeting all the presidents. It's like,
Jesus Christ.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Anyway, there's no time to die like now, Queen. Do it whenever James Bond comes out. James Bond, a new movie they showed, again, like 13 minutes of it.
I love how this movie's called No Time to Die, but my gosh, they have nothing but all the time in the world to keep pushing it back and delaying it.
Delaying it over. No time to delay.
Yeah, they got no time to release this movie.
No time to release this movie at all.
Because I'm ready for it, and I've been ready for it. And I think it's just one of those things.
No time to hear that Billie Eilish song over.
Billie Eilish. They put so much money in this movie. It's like almost that they have to release this movie when theaters are at full capacity going. And they must think that theaters are not to where they are yet, and they're just trying to make their money back. But every time you push it back, you have to pretty much put more money into the marketing because you've marketed it like coming out at 3 separate times. So you're almost digging your hole deeper every time you push it back. So when's it released now? November?
October 6th or 8th.
I'm a little sus on that release date.
Well, probably now because of the Delta variant coming.
I'm a little sus
on the seasonal flu. We're talking about COVID.
Yeah. I'm a little sus on that release date. I hope it releases. I want to see it. I want to see Daniel Craig's last hoorah as it. He's been a very good James Bond.
I think he's been a great James Bond. Yeah.
Amazing James Bond. Maybe second. I mean, if we're ranking our James Bonds, are we going Daniel Craig, Sean Connery, Daniel Craig, or Pierce Brosnan getting in there somehow?
Ooh, that's a good fucking question. It wouldn't. Craig wouldn't be at the top for me.
No.
No.
Is it Roger Moore?
Basically.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Roger Moore. Roger Moore made some really fun James Bond movies, like Octopussy.
Yeah, Octopussy is a great.
I mean, I like Roger Moore a lot. So the top 3 Bonds for me are definitely Connery, Daniel Craig, and Roger Moore.
I have it. So there goes Sean Connery.
Okay.
Pierce Brosnan.
Ooh.
I like Pierce's movies. It's what I grew up with. I grew up playing GoldenEye.
Yeah.
You know, I grew up with that. So automatically, even though the movies looking
Did you
back,
cheat and just keep using the dude's hat? Wasn't that almost like a cheat code if you used the guy with the hat that could just throw the hat and knock the head off the statue?
I did not.
I remember there being
I did not cheat.
I remember there's being a very overpowered weapon in GoldenEye.
Probably, but I did not cheat. Ben Timothy Dalton.
I think he played one James Bond movie.
It's a great.
I think he was in one James Bond movie.
I can't remember it, but I remember him being better than the fourth.
Isn't
one,
Your
Daniel
Majesty's
Craig.
Secret Service?
I
Or
think
that might have
it
been the first one before. I don't know. I'm not. We might need to do a James Bond rewatch at some point.
Just watch all of them.
Yeah.
I would love that.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
There's 26 of them? 25 of them?
License to Kill.
Yep. That's Timothy. I almost said Timothy Oliphant.
He would be great as a Bond, and you know it. It would be great as a Bond. But yeah, No Time to Die comes out October 8th. Next on the list is a weird one. A very odd one. The Black Phone.
The Black Phone?
Ethan Hawke.
Is that the Ethan Hawke Blumhouse movie?
Yes. That is the
Ever since
Ethan...
Sinister, that man is on a horror, like a horror.
He is
just
coming,
kick.
man. He's coming. For
Sinister's a good movie.
Sinister's
a very good movie. I don't know anything about the Black Phone.
So the Black Phone, I think originally it actually was like a short story, but it's coming out next year.
Blumhouse, right?
Yes, it is Blumhouse. It's being directed by Scott Derrickson, who
That name sounds very familiar.
The Exorcism of Emily Rose and Sinister.
So you got the director of Sinister and Ethan Hawke back together?
Yes, they're back
I'm
together.
for it. I'm sign me up. I like this.
Shaw is kidnapped by a serial killer who traps him in a soundproof basement. After finding a disconnected phone, Shaw discovers its ability to transmit the voices of the killer's previous victims who try to help him escape. That's the premise.
All I'm gonna go is,
January 28th, 2022.
Ooh, it's a January release. They always put shitty movies in January.
Yeah, I know, but
I'll see it.
I got to see it just because of Ethan Hawke, I think.
Blumhouse, Scott Derrickson, Ethan Hawke, Sinister. So I'll give it a watch. I might not. Yeah. Who knows? I'll give it a watch.
You're going to have to give it a watch because I'll drag you to it.
They premiered that at Cinemacon?
They showed the trailer.
Showed a trailer?
I think they showed like a proof of concept, maybe.
Yeah.
Either way, that leads us to a more exciting film.
Yeah.
Top Gun.
Top Gun.
Finally, it got a 13-minute watch. Danger Zone. That's
That's a good soundtrack that movie's got.
Yeah, all by
Berlin.
Kenny Loggins.
Oh.
Kenny Loggins.
Highway to Danger Zone.
So yeah, you got Top Gun. It's finally being fucking shown.
Tom Cruise, Miles Teller. Who else?
Miles Teller's playing what's his face's son, right?
I don't know if
Goose's son?
I don't know if they've confirmed that. I think everyone's just
That's
assumed.
what people are assuming. Yeah.
I mean, I think it's a really good assumption, but I think it is. Yeah, I think he's playing Val Kilmer's son. I heard for the longest time I've been telling everybody because I know what's next on the list is I'm pretty sure it's Mission Impossible, and we can just kind of combine these as Tom Cruise doing his own damn stunts all the time.
His own stunts.
And I know that he's almost obsessed to a weirdly degree with doing his own stunts. I know.
It's almost like the man knows he's not going to die anytime soon, so he's just doing it, right?
He's powered by all the Scientology stuff.
I think he actually quit that.
Scientology will not let Tom Cruise die.
It probably.
Tom Cruise has probably died, and they just recreated him.
No. What I'm thinking is, right? The Scientology people told Tom Cruise a date on when he's going to die, and he's like, I could do fucking everything now. So he's like jumping out of fucking planes and shit.
Tom, we've got some really, really good news. We went talked to the guy from Mars. I think his name's like Azuzu or whatever his name is. And
Pazuzu.
Nah, I know. I think that's something
That's
from
Exorcist.
Ghostbusters or something.
That's the Exorcist.
I am Pazuzu.
I am Pazuzu.
Yep, that is the Exorcist.
That's the Exorcist.
But they said,
Your mother
Tom,
sucks
they
cock
said,
some
Tom,
hell,
Tom, we have some really, really good information I think you're going to want to hear. And they said, great news, you're never going to die.
Yeah.
You're going to live forever, Tom.
Yeah.
And he
Totally.
said, you're fucking me, right? No, we're not, we're serious. Well, shit, I'm just going to do every damn thing I want. That's how we got.
Has.
That's why we're on Mission Impossible 7 and Top Gun 2. And I
Top
know
Gun 2 has been done filming for like fucking 5 years, it seems.
I know he wanted to I know he did like flight training classes, and I know he really wanted to fly an F fighter jet from the military, and the military shut it down. But I know that I'm sure he rides his own motorcycle in the movie. God damn it, because that's what Tom Cruise does. What are the stunts that he's doing for Mission Impossible 7?
Basically, the Mission Impossible 7 stunts are just all stunt dives and bike jumps.
Dude, I know when he did his Halo jump, which is high altitude, low opening for Mission Impossible 6, he did that with an IMAX camera, and he did that like over 100 times.
Yes.
And I think I read something that he's done 35,000 jumps, 35,000 bike jumps, and like 500 skydives.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And I think that they're trying to combine. I think I read that they're trying to combine a bike jump into a skydive kind of thing.
Yeah, that's what I read too. It's crazy.
Are we gonna wake? Well, yeah. Are we gonna wake up one morning and say, "Man, Tom Cruise died filming Mission Impossible 8"?
Maybe. It goes on that long.
And then we get another headline: Scientology clones revives Tom Cruise for Mission Impossible 9.
Top Gun finally has a release date though.
What is it?
November 19th. So
you want me to? I feel like a little ashamed to say this. I think I've never sat down and watched the original Top Gun in full. I know I shouldn't say this as a guy running a movie podcast and stuff, but I've seen half of it.
The shit that you say sometimes really fucking upsets me to a high degree.
I mean, I know.
To a high degree.
I know what happens in it. You catch it on TV so many times. You catch the last 15 minutes.
It's not about you gotta watch it.
I don't think I've ever had a full sit down experience with Top Gun and watched it from start to finish and really taken in the greatness of Mr. Val Kilmer and Tom Cruise.
Okay. So the next one, because you skipped over Mission Impossible 7, The Batman.
We skipped over Mission Impossible.
Yeah, that was all the news, is the jumps. That's all that came out, really.
What did they show at Cinemacon? The jumps?
They didn't show anything at Cinemacon. They just talked about it.
Oh, they just said that.
The Cinemacon was Top Gun.
They're just saying, listen here, Tom Cruise has been almost dying, breaking his back for Mission Impossible. But the Mission Impossible
7's coming out in May next year.
Shit. So next year's the Summer of Cruise.
Yeah, Summer of Cruise.
Summer of Cruise, 2022, the Summer of Cruise.
So you got the Batman, though. You got your first look at Alfred, Andy Serkis.
Is he bald?
No idea. No idea, I just know that that's a thing. And it got its first release date.
Is he mo-capping, capturing
he's
Alfred?
Mo-capping Alfred.
Yeah? Is he like an old man with a crawl?
Regardless, it's Andy Serkis as Alfred, and that's pretty exciting.
He's got an Alfred-like voice.
Yeah, he really
posh.
does.
Well, it's directed by Matt Reeves, and what did he direct before that? Planet of the Apes. Who did all the mo-capping?
Yes.
Andy Serkis.
Andy Serkis.
There's your connection.
I was trying to think of whatever action movie that Serkis was in recently.
Well, he was in Avengers. He directed Jungle Book, and he's also directing.
No, he didn't direct Jungle Book. He did mocap. No,
he did. He directed a version.
He directed a version. Yeah. Okay, I forgot.
And he's directing Venom 2.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
Yeah. He directed a version of a Jungle Book after.
The same year a version of Jungle Book came out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which was by Disney.
Yeah.
But yeah, Andy Serkis was in Black Panther. He was in Black Panther, and he had that sinister fucking voice in the beginning, like during that interview.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
I think he's also in an Avengers movie. I think they killed him, maybe.
I think they did.
Yeah.
Anyway, they finally got a release date for the Batman, March 4th, springtime of next year.
March 4th next year.
March 4th next year.
Really? Is it really March next year?
March next year. It's a springtime movie.
For real? You're not pulling on my string?
Release date confirmed.
I was fully expecting that movie to come out about a year from now. Or if not,
No,
a little
March
over. I was
1st.
expecting October,
It's been
November.
done filming since like last year. It's just editing and like reshoots couldn't happen because of COVID.
Well, the trailer got released, a year ago almost.
The teaser.
Teaser
The
got released.
real trailer got released like a month ago.
Well, what did Matt Reeves say about them? What else did they provide other than the release?
Well, that's just it.
I know that
it
he
was
said
more,
something.
It was more plot details. I don't want to go into plot because I don't want to get convoluted in it and start getting excited.
Well, at the very basics, I know that it's not a year one Batman, but it's early Batman.
It's a Batman that wants to kill people, so it's basically alternate universe Batman, almost. You have a new Riddler.
I really like the take on that Riddler. He looks like a psychopath serial killer with the tape over his head. That's the
And
only way to
you got
make
the
Riddler serious and fearful.
And you got the Penguin.
Which is by
Colin Farrell, I believe.
Colin Farrell, yeah.
Colin Farrell.
And going with the classic line Margarita, which
and
is
the
probably
Riddler's
just
Paul Dano, and that's why I'm excited, because Paul Dano is an extraordinary fucking actor. He's so weird and crazy, he can do fucking anything.
I like that casting. I just like everything I'm hearing about this. It's the Batman. Everything I'm hearing about the Batman, I like.
Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman?
Well, I don't say except. I'll be the first one to say it, I was not all about that Robert Pattinson casting. But then, I saw Good Time, and I've seen some of his other stuff since then. I've seen The Lighthouse, and there was one other I just watched the other day. I'm kind of drawing a blank on. He, like what we said, he's really chosen some really good roles since Twilight, and now going back and watching The Gentle Caress of the Inner Thigh. We have random Cards Against Humanity cards hanging out around here that Richard, I guess, is that a sign you want me to caress the inner of your... Okay, back to the Batman. So the Batman, I love that trailer. I love that sound mixing that they have when he comes up and he's just, they look like Joker thugs, but I don't think they're Joker thugs. I think they're like for the Riddler, and he just off screen is just beating the dude's face into a pulp, and you can just hear it. Because I remember when we saw Suicide Squad, the trailer for the Batman was attached to it, and it goes off screen, and you just hear it. I'm like, ooh, man, I love it. I like hearing it. It's nitty gritty. It's almost as if they got the aesthetic and the vibe of the Tim Burton Batmans and added it to the realism of the Nolan Batmans.
Yes,
it's
really almost like that.
I really am for it.
So that crack was a Dos Equis lime and salt. Tall boy.
Actually, I'm gonna have to take a sip of that because I've never had that.
And the next thing
Lime and salt,
for all you wonderful people who love this show, Downton Abbey is getting a sequel.
That's good.
Downton Abbey, the show that got a movie, is now getting a sequel movie. So congratulations to Professor McGonagall.
Go Downton Abbey! Yeah, Professor McGonagall.
Professor McGonagall, you did it again, you sly old wicked witch.
You have, beautiful woman. I know nothing about Downton Abbey other than it's PBS, and people fucking love it. So, this is your chance, commenters, viewers. Please comment. Tell us, what are we missing about Downton Abbey? What the fuck are we missing? I just don't see the appeal of, Downton Abbey. But
it's like one of those, like, oh, I'm so smart.
She spilled tea on her dress, that slut.
Not slut, that hag.
That hag, and they all sit there and they hit each other.
That little slaggy. Anyway,
she pulls off her lace glove, slaps him in the face.
The big news, besides that, which will end
Cinemacon. Downton Abbey that's the biggest news of the whole thing. Dune? I'm just kidding. I know Dune.
So Dune got showed at Cinemacon. There was a little bit of a, another demo thing. People are enjoying it. People are scared. And the reason why people are scared is because Dennis finally revealed something that has me scared.
Oh no.
They did not film back to back.
So they don't have a sequel film.
They do not have a sequel filmed.
It's not happening. It's not happening.
It's
not happening now.
Yeah.
It's not gonna happen. And I'm not even saying that as someone that's a huge Dune fan, because I'm not. I know the concept and I know the story beats of it, and I think it's very interesting. And I really like Denis Villeneuve, and I love one of my favorite fucking movies of all time is Blade Runner 2049. I love it to death. I like all his movies, honestly. They're all really, really good.
They're all really good.
They're all good. He doesn't make bad movies. Sicario.
Yeah.
I fucking love that, but I am scared because I feel like he got kind of kicked around with Blade Runner 2049 because that didn't make enough money, and it's such a good movie. So now I feel like that was like, pump your brakes here, Denis. You didn't make that much money last time. You're such a high concept director. Let's see if people will go see this movie. And I don't know if I'm confident people will go see this movie. Because
Me neither.
Oh no, that's so sad.
It's sad because he talked about it, and in the talk, the interviewer mentioned Peter Jackson in The Lord of the Rings, and how Peter Jackson convinced the fucking studio, I'm making these 3 films back to back to back, and he got the funding to make them back to back to back, only on his proof of concept, right? That it was going to be the biggest fucking thing you're going to sell. The studio didn't even went to them, said, we got to do this back to back.
Yeah.
Because it's a huge story.
Does that mean the first movie is going to end on a cliffhanger?
It's going to end on a to be continued.
No.
Basically. Yeah, it's going to end on a to be continued.
People, go see the movie. I can only see the movie so many times to support it. Oh, no.
So, yeah, it's going to be a thing where people are going to have to... It's either you go see the movie or you make a good fucking review.
So Blumhouse trusts Danny McBride and David Gordon Green with a trilogy of Halloween movies, but I don't know what studio's making Dune. But whatever studio's making Dune doesn't trust Denis Villeneuve to make. Did he want just one more movie? He just wanted to make a 2-parter?
Yeah, 2-parter.
Who knows? We can't predict the future, but
Can't predict the future. I hope it's good. I know it will be good. That's the thing. It's just it will end on that hanger. And it'll have people being like, fuck, and then like you don't know if it's ever going to be made because
is Dune a big enough property to draw in people on its name only?
Sci-fi fans, yes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just sitting here thinking because like I would say that as someone that's never
the David Lynch fans.
See, as someone that doesn't really know anything about Dune other than the big worm and then I think and what they call it, the spice. And I know the kind of the beats and stuff.
Spice connects everything.
And I know that like amongst sci-fi fans, like this book is like the Bible of sci-fi kind of, and it got made by David Lynch. Which is like, and it's like surprisingly not a very David Lynchian kind of film, right?
It was supposed to be technically made by Alejandro Jodorowsky.
Okay.
Jodorowsky, who directed The Holy Mountain. Like all those experimental 70 films, and his team from Dune, Kyle MacLachlan's in the David Lynch film, which got them in turn that went to Blue Velvet and then went into Twin Peaks. But Alejandro Jodorowsky's film, he was making Dune, and then he was like, I just need.
Then he wasn't making Dune.
I just need more money to make Dune, and they were like, fuck no. Because he wanted to make a 10-hour-long movie. Jeez. And that's how long, basically, Dune is. If you really think about it. Getting all the beats down in the novel Dune, you're going to have to make a 10-hour-long film.
Yeah.
But the thing is about this whole entire project, that Project Dune dismantled. And then it rebuilt into Alien.
Really?
Rebuilt it to Alien.
How so?
The director of Alien was a script writer on Dune.
Really?
Yes. H.R.R. Geiger was an artist
set director.
on
He
Dune.
Made the ships and all.
He was doing all that.
Yep. I know that. I know that. I know H.R. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So the team that was making Dune went on to make Alien.
So Dune could have potentially been very good. Well, I mean, I don't know. I've never seen it.
It's the best movie that was never made. That's actually what
Do
it's
people
called.
that like Dune like the David Lynch Dune?
No.
No.
Yes.
Yes.
But no.
Just because it's there.
It's the only version that people have. And it's just not, it's good, but it's not like, ooh, because like, for some reason he used fucking Sting. And that really melted people.
Yeah, he does. Sting's in the movie.
Yeah, Sting's in Dune.
Sting of the police?
Sting of the police. You know,
Every breath you take?
Roxanne.
Message in a bottle, Sting?
Roxanne.
Synchronicity 2, Sting? Englishman in New York, Sting?
Yes.
Desert Rose? Leon the Assassin, Sting?
Yes.
He was in Dune. Yeah, I don't know.
Golden underwear.
It's just I think Denis Villeneuve needs to meet up with Quentin Tarantino, because I was just watching Quentin Tarantino's interview with Joe Rogan, and he was talking about how he met up with the amazing human being Harvey Weinstein. Just kidding, but he was pitching Kill Bill to him, and they were talking about how they're going to cut this out, and I've been drinking and I've been sleeping since then, so I haven't remember every detail, but pretty much he kind of went up to Harvey and said, we're going to make it a two-parter. It's the only way it's going to work. If without it, you know, people are not going to... And so, I don't know. Maybe Denis a very soft-spoken guy and was just like, all right.
Probably.
I hope he is the most... He's the one director that I feel like doesn't get enough respect.
No, I agree.
It's like, I know, everyone knows he's good. He's great. Blade Runner's great. Sicario's great. Was it Prisoners with Hugh Jackman?
Yeah.
And Paul Dano, I think.
Yeah,
right? Paul Dano's in it. He gets beaten.
Yeah.
And I think Jake Gyllenhaal's in it or something. And that's a great movie. And then, no. He has another movie with Jake Gyllenhaal when he does all that crazy stuff. But he makes great movies, but no one sees them. Why is no one seeing this guy's movies?
No one's seeing them because people don't want to risk buying tickets anymore.
Well, that's no excuse for Blade. I think what the case with Blade Runner was, Blade Runner was, I think, just too far gone of a property, and no one really knew what Blade Runner was. But if you knew what Blade Runner was, you went and saw it.
You went to go see it, yeah.
But no one was getting drawn in on the Blade Runner alone name, you know.
Arrival. That's the one that we're missing.
Arrival. With Amy Adams.
Yes, and that's
a great movie.
Incredible movie.
That dude doesn't make what? Okay, you're got the computer. What is the one that he made with just Jake Gyllenhaal? It's like got a yellow cover. It was made in Canada, I think Toronto. Got this very Art Deco-ish.
That's actually very interesting. I do not remember that one at all. Enemy.
That's it.
Enemy.
That's it. That's a good one. He makes good movies.
He hasn't really missed a beat.
To me, I put him on par with Nolan.
Yeah.
I do put him on par with Christopher Nolan. I know he's not great name recognition like Nolan, but shit, he might have a better track record than Nolan. I don't know. Well, who knows? But that's sad.
That's basically it. It might get a sequel. It just depends on how good it does, how great the reviews are, and if people want it. Other than that,
we got one more thing to talk about before Candyman.
No, we got some things to talk about
before Candyman.
We got Spider-Man right now.
That's exactly where I was leading.
And there's a spiderweb over there.
Well, oh shit. Well, maybe by the end of this podcast, I'll be Spider-Man.
It's a cobweb ruin from.
I think I'd rather be Candyman than Spider-Man.
So Spider-Man, what's the fucking tagline?
No Way Home.
No Way Home.
Spider-Man, No Way Home.
Is that actually it?
Yep. No Way Home.
No way.
So, Spider-Man.
It is.
First one with Tom Holland is Spider-Man Homecoming. Then the second one is Spider-Man Far From Home. Third one, No Way Home. Keeping the whole home tradition. This is my passion. This is one I feel like I could talk about a lot because I love what this movie... I think we talked about it a little bit on the first podcast, but in between this 2-week gap in episodes, we've gotten the trailer for Spider-Man No Way Home. And boy, is it just a shitload of stuff.
I think it's exciting for...
It's very exciting.
Old fans that like the Sam Raimi trilogy. And...
Should we even... let's pace it. We'll get... So, I will just give it like a little just... I'm not going to go detail, but this trailer... So the end of the second Spider-Man movie is Mysterio, Jake Gyllenhaal, who we've been talking about a lot in the past 10 minutes. He dies. But before he dies, he figures out Peter's identity,
Yes.
and he broadcasts it. Well, he doesn't broadcast it. He sends it to J. Jonah Jameson, which is also played by J.K. Simmons, who played J. Jonah Jameson in the Raimi trilogy.
Yep.
And then that movie ends with him going, Spider-Man is Peter Parker is Spider-Man. And then, end. So this movie is everything it says. This movie picks up exactly after that. Him and MJ are escaping. And then he kind of just realizes that's how it's going to be. And then at some point, he realizes this is hurting people.
Yeah.
I got a best friend named Stephen Strange who can change all this stuff. Goes to Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange is doing his little spell, and Peter fucks it up.
By being an annoying little prick.
Oh, but me aunt and me friends.
Yeah.
No. And then he's like, shut up. And he's, Peter, you fucked up the spell. And
Yeah.
all sorts of multiverse bullshit happens.
Bullshit happens.
And that's where we lead us to Raimi, because the big reveal in the trailer is not necessarily, well, I guess it's not necessarily that it's Raimi. It's the Raimi trilogy, and the Garfield 2 films that sucked are being inputted into this movie.
You got Jamie Foxx as Electro again.
Jamie Foxx as Electro. You've got
Alfred Molina as Doc Ock.
And hello, Peter.
Hey, Peter.
So the big reveal in that trailer, everyone's talking about. You know, that trailer got more. It's the most viewed trailer ever.
I believe
it's almost like 400 million, I think, right now. But the big reveal is, you know, the pumpkin grenade bomb rolling up,
Green Goblin.
and you hear him.
You can literally see the Sandman in the background.
You can hear the Sandman, which is Thomas Hayden Church, and then you also get. I heard Paul Giamatti is going to be back as Rhino.
Apparently people have seen Tobey Maguire in the trailer.
Really?
That's a big thing. That's like people are like.
People are looking everywhere for spots.
Yeah.
I know some people are saying that the person that slams his hands down in the interrogation room is Charlie Cox as Matt Murdock, Daredevil. Apparently this is really where they start bringing in everybody's other properties. They're bringing in Willem Dafoe, Green Goblin, Alfred Molina, Doc Ock, Charlie Cox as Daredevil, the Lizard. I don't remember who plays him in The Amazing Spider-Man. I think it's Rhys Ifans.
Maybe.
I don't know how to pronounce that British name. And then Jamie Foxx. And they all are back. And I think it's just leading up to that moment of 3 Spider-Men swinging together, going in to face all their villains, the Sinister Six.
Yep.
And that's a bit... Could you imagine if someone told you this 4 years ago?
Nah,
Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are about to be in the MCU.
I couldn't see it happening. I couldn't see it happening at all.
It blows my mind.
It's actually the craziest thing.
It blows my mind.
But what I want to see is Doc Ock kidnapping Aunt May again.
I hope. Well, there's a lot of rumors going around that film, but one of the rumors is people are doing all their little trailer breakdowns that when he gets out his arms and he stands up and he says, "Hello, Peter," that he's actually talking to Tobey Maguire. It's a little... Marvel's very famous for their misdirects on their trailers. Yeah. And that the way he's looking is not necessarily where Tom Holland is. Yeah. And how would he know that Tom Holland's Peter Parker? But the big takeaway is that...
Well, the people from that are also thinking Tom Holland's wearing a suit.
Yeah.
So he's like, oh, okay, so you have to be Peter, regardless.
Yeah. Even though, I guess, you wear a suit, you're Peter Parker. Yeah. But the thing is this is where the can of worms have been opened for Marvel, because now the next movie after this is the Doctor Strange 2 and the Multiverse of Madness, and who's directing that? Sam Raimi.
Yep.
And so it's like
it's bringing everything together.
Everyone's saying we better see Bruce Campbell's Mysterio. Yeah. Because that was what they were leading up to with all that stuff. Yeah. And oh man, this is... And all the wild rumors now are about Multiverse of Madness, Doctor Strange 2, now I hear that because of this multiverse thing, now I think they say people are throwing around Patrick Stewart coming back as Charles Xavier, Hugh Jackman coming back. Now it's just a way of saying all these movies that weren't part of the MCU, they kind of matter now.
They can now matter.
They can now matter because they kind of happened over here and they happened over here and then they kind of verged right here.
Which is exciting because there's no
That's
There's
unlimited
no
possibilities now.
Exactly.
It's
But
just-
it brings back the people that should have been in the MCU all along.
Yes,
you know,
and
like,
it brings back hope for people like me that maybe some. I mean, if they put in Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield in an MCU film, and now I have hope that they might actually somehow make Spider-Man 4 one day.
yeah.
And that's something I know Sam Raimi and Tobey Maguire really want to make.
Yeah.
I would love an older Peter Parker story.
I would love an older Peter Parker story and bring back the fucking original MJ, Kristen Dunst.
They say she's
know?
in it. They say she's in the.
See, that's what I'm excited about, man. I'm so excited about the possibility because I like new Spider-Man. I like Tom Holland.
He's good. Yeah.
But I
He to
grew
me-
up with Sam Raimi.
Yeah.
Just in general, you know, The Evil Dead 2. You know, I grew up with him.
To me, Tom Holland, pure Peter Parker wise, he's the best Peter Parker because he's young, he's innocent,
Yes.
and he's whatever. But nostalgic reasons, Tobey Maguire to me is Peter Parker almost always.
Tobey Maguire is Spider-Man.
And Tobey Maguire is Spider-Man.
He's Spider-Man. He's not necessarily Peter Parker.
He does.
He
He
is
fills
Spider-Man.
that. Yeah, that's good.
You know?
Yeah, his voice behind the suit. Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's great. Tobey Maguire is Spider-Man. Andrew Garfield's just shit, but
Andrew Garfield is literally just Andrew Garfield at this point.
Yeah.
Which is sad because he could have been so much better.
he was too old to be Peter Parker, too non-nerdy to be Peter Parker.
Yeah.
But he's a good actor.
He's a good, funny, wisecracking Spider-Man, but not in like the way that I like it.
Yeah.
He's too wisecracking.
That's not. He isn't my version of Peter Parker. I don't think he's really anyone's version of Peter Parker. But Raimi Spider-Man getting smashed into the MCU is something I never thought
It's
would
super crazy.
ever
It's
happen.
super fantastic.
That's oof.
Now,
Oof.
we have something else. A Christopher Nolan film that's not a Christopher Nolan film. Reminiscence. Did you even watch it?
Well, I watched a little bit of it. I don't know too much about it because
You know what?
we can skip that. You know why? Because my damn HBO Max wasn't working.
You know what? I didn't watch it either. Instead, I watched a film called Jurassic Shark 2, Aquapocalypse.
Did you really?
I did.
Wait.
Instead, I wanted to watch it today. I wanted to watch Reminiscence.
Okay, so let me just put it this way. We hadn't even discussed this even off camera. I was sitting there clicking through when I was buying our ticket for Candyman today, and I saw Reminiscence, and I went, I said, oh shit, I didn't watch that movie.
I didn't watch it.
I didn't watch it.
Didn't watch it.
But I did research it, and it is Jonathan Nolan. It totally looks like Inception
It's
type
literally Inception type of movie, and it's really intellectual apparently. And
I'm sure it's good.
So I kind of want to watch it, but no. Instead, I watched Jurassic Shark 2, Aquapocalypse.
All right, I'm all ears. I want to hear
So
it.
Jurassic Shark 2, Aquapocalypse is written by the dudes who have made like a shit ton.
Is that
of
an
shitty-
early Oscar favorite?
It's probably the best Oscar movie you'll ever watch. Jurassic Shark 2,
Early Oscar pick, Jurassic Shark 2.
Aquapocalypse, directed by Mark Polona, with literal no names.
Oh,
It's free on YouTube.
wow.
Uh,
Must be really good.
and at the end, I'm gonna spoil it for you. It's literally like Jaws, where they have explosives in like the shark's mouth, right? And the dude who shoots is like, "No, you're really a stink, bitch," and it's funny as fuck.
yourself extinct.
That's
Bitch.
basically it. That's literally almost the line.
When you said Jurassic Shark 2, that means there's a Jurassic Shark 1.
Yes, but this is Aquapocalypse. And so I watched that today. I watched it this morning.
Did you?
I did. I watched it this morning.
Aquapocalypse.
8/27/2021 at 10 a.m. I watched Jurassic Shark 2, Aquapocalypse.
And do you recommend it to our listeners?
Yes. Highly. I highly recommend to search Jurassic Shark 2, Aquapocalypse on YouTube and watch it.
Screw Jurassic Park, just go straight to Jurassic Shark.
Jurassic Shark 2, Aquapocalypse.
Jurassic Shark 2, Aquapocalypse.
Aquapocalypse.
Now, what's the budget for that movie? We talking a big studio movie? Disney put this one out?
The shark is animated.
Oh. Is it animated and is it convincing?
No.
How
Not at all.
many big name movie stars are in it?
None.
No, really? No Patrick
None.
Stewart?
None. No Patrick Stewart.
No Julia
It
Roberts.
has a 1.5 rating on IMDb.
1.5.
Yeah.
You think that those type of movies get 1.5 ratings because like the crew of the movie goes and rates them?
Yeah, most likely.
Oh man.
Because there's no one watching this besides someone who.
Except for you.
I watched it.
At 10 in the morning.
10 in the morning. I woke up, watched it.
God, I'm gonna start my day with some Jurassic Shark.
Jurassic Shark 2, Octopocalypse.
You sip a cup of coffee in a little shark mug too while you did it?
Yeah, basically.
So what's the plot?
Well, there's a shark.
There's a shark?
There's a shark. There's this dude taking pictures of, like, girls on the beach, and his, like, black friend is like, I can't believe you get away with this. And he's like, I'm a photographer, bro. And
It's a license to creep.
yeah.
I got a camera in my hand. I
And
can't
then
creep.
there's these two government agents who are tracking the shark, and at the end, one of them turns out to be, like, a villain.
Are there more kills than Lake Placid?
Yes. Lake Placid only has a kill count of 2.
I know. It took a minute and a half to watch all kills of the movie.
Alright. On to the big news of the night. Are you ready for it?
Spider-Man.
Cinderella.
Oh, shit. I saw that clip.
Yeah, you saw the clip? So that's coming out, like, literally next week.
That looks like it was made by TikTokers.
Yeah, I know, dude. I know.
It looked like
fucking
Cinderella
crazy.
made by TikTokers.
It's absolutely fucking horrendous. And it's literally made by fucking Amazon. Apparently it has a 96% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, probably with 2 views. Two reviews.
Regardless,
I mean.
I'm going to watch it next
No,
week.
you are not.
I am. I'm going to watch
You know
it.
the fairy godmother is a gay man.
Yeah, Billy Porter.
So is he still a fairy godmother or is he fairy godfather?
Probably both.
I'm the fairy god non-binary.
But here's the thing, Kyle.
I'm the god but
Here's
non-binary.
the thing, and here's the reason why I am actually going to watch it, and you're going to be amazed by this fact.
Clint Eastwood's in it?
Pierce Brosnan, isn't it?
No!
Yes! Pierce
Yeah.
Brosnan is in the new Cinderella film.
You know, speaking of good film selections, he's the guy that hasn't done a whole lot since he's been James Bond. He's been in a lot of Mamma Mia's and
Apparently Cinderella's.
Cinderellas.
The one good role he had was in The World's End. Nick Frost, Simon Pegg, Edgar Wright.
I haven't seen that
Edgar
movie in a
Wright's Last Time in
long-
Soho will come out soon.
I haven't seen that movie in a long time.
The World's End?
Yeah.
That's recent.
Well, I did a whole.
Almost.
But they had their like ice cream whatever
That's
trilogy.
the
It was
Cornetto trilogy, yes. It is Shaun of the Dead,
Hot Fuzz.
Hot Fuzz, and then The World's End.
Hot Fuzz. I watched Hot Fuzz and Shaun of the Dead
Yeah.
religiously. I've just
They're good films.
I have not seen that World's End that much, but my gosh, Pierce Brosnan and Cinderella
It's
sells
gonna happen.
itself. Is he Cinderella?
He's
Is he Cinderella?
He's the king. He's the king.
Well, who's Cinderella?
Camilo Cabello.
Oh, the singer?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Her first acting role is Cinderella. Great. Awesome.
What happens?
Oh,
Anyway, so legit
no.
now though. Onto the legit movie of the night.
Be my victim.
Do we want to talk about the OG first?
I think we have to.
Okay.
We have to. We don't have to go into too much
We don't
detail,
have to
but
go into too much
we got to
detail,
talk
but-
about the OG because I feel like not enough people have seen the OG. I feel like enough people have heard about the OG, but how many people do you know
Exactly.
have seen it?
So I think we should
Candyman.
start off by just Candyman.
Candyman, Tony Todd, and Virginia Madsen.
Tony Todd, Virginia Madsen, in their fucking like legit prime, making a horror movie that's not really a horror movie.
It's so classical and so poetic and so
It's
gothic.
lovely. Exactly.
It's a
gothic,
very lovely horror movie.
It's a romantic film, you know, because he's seducing her throughout the
die.
whole entire thing.
It is a
right?
very seductive, scary.
It's what one would call gothic, you know,
Yeah.
like gothic horror, something like what Edgar Allan Poe would
Yes,
write.
yes. It does seem very Edgar Allan Poe-ish. A lot of imagery and symbols and
Yes.
just hidden motifs and themes that you can find throughout them.
Which the whole film is based on urban legends and folklore.
Yep.
And how that comes across in the area known as Caprini Green.
Greeny Green
In
projects.
Chicago. The projects of Chicago.
Yeah, how they're pretty much housing, cheap, affordable housing for predominantly African American community back in, when was the movie made? 80s?
1992.
The first one was made in 92?
1992.
I thought it was late 80s.
Well, the short story by Clive Barker was in the 80s. That was based on his story called The Forbidden.
Forbidden. Okay. See, I learn something new every day. I loved that movie. The first time I watched Candyman was probably last year, and I think I watched it just by myself.
Yeah.
I think it was on Netflix or something, and I was like, I gotta finally watch this. And from the get-go, that music, I think the guy that makes the score of the original 2 films is Philip Glass. Almost positive.
You're correct.
Correct?
You're
Awesome.
correct.
Sweet. Don't know how I pulled that one out of my ass. But his freaking score at the very beginning of that movie is what gets you. It's very
draws you
classical.
in.
It's quirky. It's cool. It's catchy. I like it.
It's almost scary in a way, but not too scary.
But it's just an original movie that
it really is.
it's a slasher film, but it's really not a slasher film.
It's a gothic supernatural horror romance film.
It's almost as if he's almost a Nosferatu kind of character.
It's almost like he's
a
Dracula
Phantom of the
as well.
Opera. He's a
Yes.
ugly monster, but he wants her, but he doesn't want her for. I mean, he does want her for love, but he wants her to be my victim.
Yeah.
It's not like be my Valentine,
Yeah.
be my victim.
It's
And
be my victim.
he's played by Tony Todd, who's a horror legend.
Horror legend because of Candyman.
And he's also the guy, Grim Reaper in Final Destination.
Yes, he is.
Mhm.
Yes, he is.
He's good. And so Virginia Madsen, I could be wrong, she's a journalist, I think, or some sort of
She is a graduate student.
doing her dissertation.
Doing her dissertation, doing her thesis on urban legends and folklore.
Yes.
And she stumbles across a story about this African American man who has been
That the projects of Chicago talk about as an urban legend.
As an
yeah,
urban
it's
legend.
mainly a African American folklore legend, tall tale.
folklore legend, but he had relations with a white daughter of a slave owner, and he murdered him.
Yeah, he was
He was
hired to paint pictures of him, and he
pictures.
did the most insufferable thing, and he fell in love with a white woman. My
White
God,
woman.
how horrible! And they chopped off his right hand and stuck a meat hook in it, and smothered him with honeycomb, and let the bees sting them, and I think they might have even burned them on fire or something.
They burned him alive.
And so now you got the projects of Chicago all scared of something happens. It must have been the Candyman.
It must have been the Candyman.
And they got the kids.
It's
saying
basically the boogeyman.
Yeah,
but
he is.
it's
He
the
is the
Candyman.
boogeyman. And the big thing is you say Candyman in the mirror five times. Not 3 times like Bloody Mary, but 5 times.
5 times.
He comes and he kills you. And so that whole movie is about Virginia Madsen discovering whether or not this guy's real or not. And, well, spoiler alert,
Finds out he's real.
he's a very real guy.
Yeah.
Very real guy. And that movie kind of culminates in her finally, I guess, kind of giving herself up to him in a
So
I don't.
basically, what happens at the end of the film is Tony Todd's Candyman kidnaps a baby in the projects.
Yep.
A baby that Virginia Madsen's character, her name is Helen Lyle,
Yeah.
gets to experience, and they frame her for kidnapping him, but she knows it's really Candyman.
Yep.
And for some reason, the people at Cabrini Green, the projects area, host a fucking bonfire.
Yeah, they got a bonfire that's like in the middle of look like just a plot of land that hasn't been developed yet.
Yeah.
And it's literally just a bunch of trash and wood furniture.
So Helen Lyle
It's like
escapes from
huge,
a fucking...
huge,
Yeah, it's
Texas
huge.
A&M bonfire.
It's
big.
literally the Texas A&M bonfire, yeah. So Helen Lyle escapes from a fucking psychiatric hospital after saying Candyman's name 5 times and summoning him
Yes.
in order for Candyman to kill the person that's like guarding her exit. So she really summons him out. And then she goes to Cabrini Green. She saves the child. She gives the child away to the mom.
Well, she saves the child, but as she's saving the child, she hears the child within that bonfire.
yeah, the child's in the bonfire.
The child's in the bonfire
with the Candyman.
with the Candyman. And there is a little guy, little guy. He's not like a midget or anything. He's a little kid. He's probably 6 or 8, 9, 10 years old.
Everything, basically.
And he's the big, I know everything. I'm around here. And he sees what she has in her hand. I think she has a hook in her hand.
She has a hook in her hand.
She comes in to go kill the guy with Candyman with the hook. And he
him.
sees just the hook going.
Yeah.
And he goes out there, and everyone's go, Candyman's in there.
Light the fire.
Let's kill him.
Light the fire.
And so let you take it from
So
where
if you light the fire, she's in there fucking trying to get the baby up.
tussles with Candyman.
Tussle with the Candyman. Finally, in like a moment of seduction, the Candyman's like, "You're my victim." She's like, "I will be your victim," but secretly, she's holding out a hook. She's finding it. Stabs him in the fucking chest.
Gone.
He is gone. He's being destroyed by the flames, and she's crawling out. Her hair's on fucking fire.
Yep.
She is dying. In her last moment, she hands the baby off to the mother.
Yep. And then the fire kind of doesn't explode, but the fire turns into like a bunch of fire bees.
Yes, it's like fire bees. Yes,
and you see his burning corpse in the fire.
Yes, and she dies there.
She dies.
And then the ending though is, which is not touched on in this movie, which absolutely upsets me, but I'm going to say it regardless. Her fiance goes to the mirror, and just in a sure like coincidence is like.
By the way, yeah, she has
Lyle.
a shitty fiance who cheated on her, and has got like I think she's like cheating on her with
Lyle,
a student.
A student, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is exactly how they met, by the way. Helen Lyle. He's like, it's all bullshit. Then she appears and fucking kills him.
Yeah.
As
Candywoman,
as
Candyman, or Helen Lyle.
Yes.
Now herself is a legend, and then of course now you see in the murals around Chicago, she's painted within the murals.
She's painted within the murals and also shown with Candyman.
Yeah.
Because she actuality is actually the reincarnation of the white girl.
That was my question. Is she a descendant or a reincarnation of...
She is the...
Her name's Charlotte, I think?
I think it was Charlotte, yes.
Charlotte.
She is the reincarnation, basically. She is either a descendant or a direct reincarnation. I want to go reincarnation because that sounds cooler.
Yeah, that sounds
but
good.
yeah, she is the reincarnation.
Because he always says, you've always been the one.
Yes,
Heather.
yes.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it such a great romantic film.
It's very romantic. It's very Phantom of the Opera, very Nosferatu, very... Somehow this beautiful girl is still getting drawn to this figured monster.
Even though they shouldn't at all. You know?
Exactly.
It shouldn't be happening.
So they made two sequels that are shittier in quality as you go. Doesn't really need to talk about them.
We don't need to talk about it at all.
I'll briefly talk about them when we talk about the movie because they bring just a little bit of stuff from those sequels, but they really are shit. You really only need to understand the first movie. Yes. And then fast forward to 2021, Candyman.
Candyman comes out. It is directed by Nia.
I can't pronounce that last.
Nia DaCosta.
And
Screenplay by Jordan Peele, someone else, and then Nia DaCosta herself helped.
Jordan Peele of Key and Peele.
Yes, Key and Peele.
Nothing else.
Been doing
and nothing else. He's done nothing else. Never made a horror movie other than.
He's made horror films.
I'm just kidding.
But yeah, he's made Get Out.
And Us. Yep. Great move. Great. He seems to have his finger on the horror pulse.
Because he's a comedian.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about that whenever Halloween Kills release. Comedy and horror they're tied in together.
Yep.
It's the timing, it's the beats, it's the understanding of what's going to be like
the payoff.
Yeah.
We could do a whole episode on the parallels of horror and comedy. And so then you get 2021, you get this revamp. I think they call it a spiritual sequel.
It's a spiritual sequel, but it
really is just a sequel.
It's a reboot.
It's a reboot sequel. It's a spiritual sequel. It kind of rejuggles what you saw in the original one and kind of puts it for 2021 in a way that's relevant today because there's a lot more racial themes in this one. There are a lot more. It deals with police brutality. I don't even think the first one deals with that at all.
No, it did not at all.
Then it deals with the gentrification of projects. And so now Cabrini Green, which was affordable housing and shit, is now been high rises and luxury apartments and hipsters and artists and Whole Foods and Starbucks, and that's where the setting is now.
That's
for the
where
new
the setting is. Yeah,
that's the new Candyman.
That's the whole entire setting is this new gentrified area that's like up and coming. It's well-to-do. You gotta be someone to be there.
Yeah.
And the two main characters, You have
man, there's a lot of people in this movie that
I
are
mean, but the two main characters.
Yahya Abdul-Mateen II.
Yahya Abdul-Mateen II as Anthony McCoy.
And then Tiona Paris.
Tiona Paris as Brianna Cartwright.
And Tiona Paris is from WandaVision, and she is, what is her name? I'm not going to be able to think about it. Rebecca Rombo. Maybe Richard can find it, but she's in the Marvel MCU now, and that Nia DaCosta director is now directing the new Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
Not important at all. But
I know Yahya was part of Watchmen.
Yeah, he was the main character of Watchmen, and he's also the bad guy in Aquaman.
Yes, he's the bad guy. He's the bad
Mantis.
guy in Aquaman. Yeah, the Mantis guy. Great actor.
He's a really good actor. He's got a big career ahead of him.
Yeah, this fucking movie.
Great acting.
Holy shit! It blew me away. It was so touching, and like you could tell the emotions were just going.
The movie
hard.
seemed like it was made by people that really felt they really cared about what they were writing about. They really respected the original Candyman, and the beats they wanted to hit upon, such as police brutality and racial stuff, meant a lot to them.
It meant a lot, but it wasn't like
the story.
It wasn't overdone.
That's what my main thing going into this is like. Yeah, I'm fine with a horror movie that has some underlying messages and stuff, but don't whack me over the head. Don't whack me over the head as white man bad, cop bad. I don't want the whole movie to be about that because I'm going to see this.
We're going to go see a horror movie, which it's like. This was a little bit of a departure for me because I had never seen the sequels of Candyman.
Okay.
I've never seen them because I knew they were less fun. And so I know Candyman is a gothic horror film.
Yeah.
This was a slasher movie.
It was much more slasher movie than the original one.
Yeah.
And so for instance, the second one, each one becomes a little bit more slasher than the last one, and the third one is just a straight up slasher that was literally just trying to cash in on the Scream franchise.
Yeah.
It's stupid. There's boobs everywhere. It literally is your teen Scream horror movie, and it's just him. And the only things that carry over from the sequels to this one are, and I could be wrong, but I don't remember that reflections being a huge deal in the first one. Because I feel like she saw him outside of the mirror.
Yeah.
It wasn't you only saw them in reflections. Yeah. That wasn't a big deal.
You saw him outside of mirrors,
Yeah, you saw him outside of mirrors, and the reflection was never a big thing. And then the second and third one, the second one introduced that reflection part to his legacy. That's when the reflection thing started happening. And then the third one, the only thing that thing added and that this thing stuck with is he floats with bees around him. He doesn't float in the first two. So the only thing that got brought over is the reflection thing and the floating thing. That's it. Oh. That is all that you need to know about the sequels.
That's good to know, though.
But it starts off how do we begin to talk about this? So Yahya, his name was Anthony McCoy. Anthony McCoy is a rising artist in Chicago. His girlfriend, I think, is a little bit more successful artist than he is.
Yes, she's a director of art. She's
a director of art, and she kind of, because it's her boyfriend, she gets him into her exhibit,
And she gets him any exhibit that she'll ever do because she loves him, of course, and she needs to fund his career.
Yes.
But that's not how it starts, though.
Well, what starts is her younger. I don't know if it's younger.
Her younger brother.
Her brother.
Her younger homosexual brother.
Her brother and her brother and his boyfriend come over to just kind of, I think, come over and hang out, fuck around, hang out, and he's like, let's tell you a scary story.
He tells the story of Helen Lyle.
Yes.
Which is incredible.
It's incredible.
It was so good. It was so well done.
You think he's about to sit down and tell you the story of Candyman. It's like, no, let me tell you the story of Helen Lyle.
Yeah.
And he gives this, it almost makes you think like you didn't watch the original one right. You're like, no.
Yeah.
She didn't take the baby.
Exactly.
Everything that Candyman did in the original movie has now been lost in translation and lost kind of like the game Telephone. Because it's an urban legend. It's been told so many times that the real true story's been lost.
It becomes the white people are the assholes, right? They're the monsters in this.
Helen Lyle has become Candyman.
Yes.
She was a horrible person. Apparently she cut off the head of a dog and rolled around her blood.
That wasn't the original movie though.
She did that?
Yes. You don't remember? That's actually in the movie. So that's like the family, like the mom and the baby. They had a dog. It was a Rottweiler. She actually did kill the dog, but it wasn't her, right? It wasn't her. It was the Candyman.
That's right.
But that was the scene.
I forgot. Damn.
That was the scene.
When they were saying that during the movie, I was like, I vaguely remember a dog thing. So I wasn't okay. So yeah. Okay. So I'm glad you confirmed that. That definitely is in the first one. So all these things that Candyman did in the first one that people think that Helen Lyles did, everyone ends up believing she actually did because of the way urban legends work. And then
he said, she said.
Anthony McCoy, he said, she said. Anthony McCoy ends up kind of getting an interest, just like Lyle did. He loves
the story.
He just like Heather Lyle.
Yeah.
Helen Lyle. Sorry, Helen Lyle.
He loves the story, and he ends up going to the projects.
And he wants to learn. Yeah, he goes to Cabrini Green, and he's going, what is this Candyman mythos? What is this?
What's happening here?
Ends up finding a kid who, at the beginning of the movie, we see a flashback.
The beginning of the movie starts off as a flashback to 1977, and this kid goes to do his laundry, and then in the wall, which is like another thing,
is a very
walls
Candyman thing.
Are very like a Candyman thing.
He lives in the
comes
walls.
out of the wall and he hands this kid candy. The kid fucking screams.
Yep. Well, cops were out there where they were looking for the candy hook. They're not calling Candyman. They're just looking for the guy with the hook.
We're looking for the guy who has the hook.
He screams. Cops come in, see the guy with the hook, go in there, and from what the movie says, they go in there and just beat him to death.
They beat him to death, even though they found out later he was innocent.
Yeah. He was innocent. I think he really was just giving candy out.
He was literally just a... He was probably just a mentally insane man handing out candy.
He's just a mentally insane guy that probably attached himself with the Candyman.
Yeah, most likely, yeah.
Yeah.
Literally that.
Yeah, and just like in the original movie, there is a guy that she thinks is the Candyman, and remember, he knocks her up the head with the hook. And they say, oh, we got the Candyman guy. And they're like, no, that's not really Candyman. That's just a guy that was...
just a guy
he's just a copycat killer kind of thing. And so then this movie really just is about him getting deeper and deeper into the Candyman lore. And, of course, he starts painting images and painting stuff. And he wants to create a whole exhibit to Candyman. He just becomes pretty much obsessed. I'm going to do another... Let me do something that's not lime. I will do a watermelon mojito. He gets obsessed with this, just kind of like Helen Lyle does. There's a lot of parallels between him and Heather Lyle, because it is kind of a reboot. So takes same story beats and notes. But then it just kind of without being so spoiler. I mean, yeah, I guess this
spoiler alert.
Yeah, heavy spoilers. The first time, so I'm stumbling all over my words right now. So he goes into the projects, he learns about Candyman, and he just pretty much creates an art piece that is reminiscent of the guy named Sherman, who was the Candyman that the guy saw.
To death, yes.
Yeah, and then he makes a painting of a guy getting beaten to death, and then
he makes
during his art exhibit, he hides this painting behind a wall, behind mirrors, which is, and then he says the Candyman thing 5 times. Everyone makes fun of him. Says it's
people hate it.
Amateur art. It's
amateur art. You're an artist. We understand. Blah 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 blah. Yeah, artists love to do things where it's like, oh my god, like
he's suffering. My suffering.
Yeah, you're suffering, but like your people suffering.
Yeah.
You know that one critic is like, your people suffering, which is like, no, I didn't mean artist.
Yeah.
But really,
what she meant
African American suffering, which is like a very nice touch, because that does happen often. You know, you have people making movies like Get Out. That was definitely a reference to like all the like critics out there watching Get Out and being like, okay, come on.
Yeah.
Come on, Jordan.
Yeah.
You know, like, you're just making a film to fucking be like, fuck white people.
Yeah.
But really, it's...
a lot more than that.
It's about his identity as, like, a writer, you know?
It's about, identity as a writer, how his experiences, his upbringing. I mean, he grew up in America as a young black man. He's got experiences. He put pen to paper, and that's what came out.
And it's fucking great.
It was amazing.
It's such a great movie.
It's an amazing movie.
But yes, so that happens, and then there's a kill. I don't want to discuss the kills.
we don't have to go. There's a kill. So someone he does his art exhibit. The people that make fun of him, amateur art, blah blah blah, end up kind of hanging around the art exhibit, and they do the whole Candyman thing. And lo and behold, just like in the original movie, Candyman's real, done, killed.
But the effects of the kill,
great.
That was so fucking.
This was where the reflection thing comes into play, because this is not something that is very heavy in the original one, but this one, it makes it just the creative as shit.
It was creative.
It makes it creative as shit.
It was so creative.
It's creative as shit, and you see glimpses of him.
You see glimpses of him dragging and like doing everything, but like
you don't see anything
in the actual shot.
He's
not
there. And you don't know whether or not. And I mean, I guess if you go do a rewatch, you can tell who it is, but you don't know if it's a Tony Todd. Because if you're anything like me, you're trying to find Tony Todd, and you're sitting there and you're like, it kind of looks like Tony Todd, but he really doesn't look like Tony Todd. He's in the Tony Todd outfit, which Candyman wears that that long jacket and the hook hand and the coat. Yeah. And so he has all the Candyman clothes on. Doesn't quite look like Tony Todd, but there's something there. And then, of course, everyone's like, oh, man, people died at your art exhibit. And then the person that was telling him about how his art sucks, she ends up going, it doesn't actually really suck.
It doesn't actually suck because now there's controversy around it.
Now there's people are talking about your art now. Because your art was around some murders, now your art's valuable.
So Anthony McCoy...
and you need to.
I will. I will say that.
Yeah, you need to mention that. I know you're doing the hand motions. No one's gonna see it, but
I'm doing the thing.
Richard, just like during goddamn Suicide Squad, every movie I ever watch with Richard, he comes over and he goes, Spiral. This is gonna happen. Yeah. And I go, God damn it, Richard! How did I not find that? How did I not see that?
So anyway, Anthony McCoy, that's 4 times, goes out and. He's staring at a mirror in the fucking critic's house, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in the mirror is Sherman, the Candyman,
the guy that
1977 guy.
Yes,
not Tony Todd.
The guy that got beaten by the cops.
Yes, and they're doing like the fucking great mirror motion, and I want to know how that scene was filmed. Was it, like they were both like together and they were both doing it side by side, because that would be great to know. Because that was such a great scene.
It was a very well filmed scene.
It was just so.
I was thinking the same thing. I was going, man, I really want to know the production technique behind that, because that. I mean, it was seamlessly. He's scratching his cheek. His fingers are in the same. Yeah, it was great.
It was like the scratch, and he's like he has the fingers going down, and he's about to cut.
And we should say at this point, and this is maybe a quarter of the way in the movie, maybe halfway. I don't even know. He's really starting to get kind of going crazy over this Candyman thing. He
understands what's happening.
He's understanding that this Candyman thing is real, and it's starting to really fucking follow him around and fuck up his life.
Yeah.
And he even was kind of like getting a little silly, because while he's doing that in the mirror, the reason he's alone in the art critic's house is because he told her, go say it 5 times. Go do it 5 times. Go do it. Go do it. He's encouraging her to do it. Go do it. Go do it.
And then he starts feeling on his hand, and something's happening to him.
Oh, he gets bit by the bee. He gets stung by the bee.
He gets stung by a bee.
The first thing
bees, very important to the Candyman series. If you
Candyman, he died with honey on him, was stung by bees pretty much to death. And
bees basically live inside.
Early on in the movie, Anthony McCoy gets stung by a bee. Stung by a bee on his right hand.
All right, so we said his name 5 times throughout this whole entire thing. I'm going to say it right now, just in case.
He's behind you.
Oh God, he's here.
You said his name 5 times.
In the movie, this is a huge fucking spoiler.
It's not a big spoiler because
such a huge spoiler. Such a huge spoiler because you know what's going to happen though, because it's like, so if they say Anthony McCoy in the movie 5 times.
Yes.
They say his name 5 times.
They might say McCoy or Anthony, but they say the combined
full
Anthony
thing,
McCoy
5 times. 5 times. And the 5th time, he's getting the fucking he's getting that fucking hook in his hand.
And every time you hear the name Anthony McCoy, the next scene or the next time you see Anthony McCoy, he's become a little bit more like Candyman.
More like Candyman.
And by the 5th time they say it, now he's got the hook in his hand.
He's got the hook in his hand.
And
it's so fucking good.
And so that really is what the movie is the slowly the evolution of Anthony McCoy into Candyman, and you realize that Candyman isn't necessarily a one single person, but Candyman is, well, how would you just...
It is every single black man in Cabrini Green
that
has ever been done wrong.
And been an innocent man, yeah.
At
the hands of white people.
And yes.
At the hands of white people. So so Candyman takes the form of Sherman, because Sherman was killed like that. And they say that the original Candyman is Daniel Robitaille, which is the Tony Todd.
Daniel Robitaille.
And so this is a new kind of fold into like the mythos.
Into the
Candyman.
mythos, yes. But
this
he
is
transforms.
Yeah, he transforms. Yeah. He doesn't always look like Tony Todd. He takes the form of people that have been wronged. And so now he's a symbol of pain, black pain and black sufferance.
Yep.
And becomes the boogeyman.
He basically becomes a boogeyman just in general. And that's like, it's so poetic.
It's very poetic.
It's so like, and like I hate it low key because I'm tired of being like told, you know, like, hey, this is happening in America, this is happening in America. And I understand it's happening in America, it's the saddest fucking thing.
Yeah.
But it's been happening here since like, not even like, you know, before we were born, the fucking 50s and 40s, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, but they do it in such a way that you're like, oh dude, congratulations.
Yeah.
You know, you fucking did it.
No, yeah, you deserve to be up, yeah.
Like, you fucking, like, absolutely nailed this poetic sense of justice.
That's how that's how you, because big thing with me is I'm fine with whatever you want to call it, social justice stuff, but I just can't stand it when you're just knocked up in the head with it.
Yeah.
Like, this is the message, get it. This is a way that, like, someone that just hates being knocked over the head with a message, I sat there and went, they really approached this subject material and this controversial subject in such a way
with grace
that people that are probably on the wrong end of these arguments would sit there and go,
damn.
Yeah. You go, damn.
Yeah.
You go, damn. You go, wow.
Because you hear it from the cop, you know, whenever like this is like
so
this is the ending.
Yeah. So the climax of the climax is really the end.
Yeah.
It kind of really builds up and then just dies down.
Yeah, it does.
It's
really like a.
It's very
almost
quick
like
movie.
It doesn't end.
It's almost like it doesn't end. The movie just feels like it starts and just keeps going, and there's no downtime. There's no, there was no time, even though I had to run and go to the restroom. There was no time that I really felt like I could go, because I was sitting there going, man, they're going fast. This person's doing this. He's turning into Candyman fast. Yep. I didn't see the bee sting turning into his whole arm, it was just weird. And so it was like, damn, boom, boom. So by the time it was over, I was like, oh shit, this is over. That was good. That was good. Like, that was fast paced. It got to the point. It made its point. And so the climax of the movie, which is also pretty much the quote unquote end of the movie, is, Anthony McCoy getting shot by, the climax is the person that tells Anthony McCoy about, the person that says he's the philosophical guy, that tells him about everything, is the guy that works at the laundromat. And he's been in...
He's the kid from 1977.
He's been to Cabrini Green for a long time, yeah. He is the kid that saw Sherman in 77.
The Candyman, but he knows.
The one that he screamed and got arrested, and then that guy actually ended up killing his sister back in another flashback. He ends up kind of showing his rear head, and he's kind of a bad guy, and he sees what's happening to Anthony McCoy and pretty much says, well, I'm really going to turn him in to the Candyman. They physically turn him into Candyman. He doesn't have to die and become Candyman. I'm turning him into Candyman, so he's like in a daze sitting there.
Continuing to...
Yeah, and he chops off his hand, puts his hook in his hand, and then they have this whole this whole situation, and
the
climax is police brutality. Anthony McCoy is shot and killed because
though he's dying.
Yes,
he's already dying.
He's
because
dying.
His hands like cut off. He's dying from a bee sting.
He's dying.
His girlfriend is holding him in her arms like, hey, don't die. Cops come in, she's like, hey, we're fine, like, that's the person, right? Like, because she's pointing to the body of the fucking, like, dude from 1977, grown up, and regardless, the cops shoot.
They come in, they
and
shoot him.
She thinks she's been shot.
Yes.
And she's like touching herself, seeing the blood, and then she like looks at him, and no, they shot Anthony McCoy.
In her lap.
Yeah, in her
They
lap.
shot her in her lap, and
They drag her out, they put her in handcuffs, and then a lieutenant, a detective, gets into the car and is like, there's only two ways this is going to happen. One way, he did everything, he was going to kill you, we shot him because there's no reason to, or you're his accomplice.
Yeah. Pick one.
Pick one, and she's like, okay, but first can I look into the mirror?
Mm-hmm.
And she starts saying Candyman.
And she
Candyman,
summons Candyman.
Candyman. Summons Candyman. Anthony McCoy comes out, dude, and you see him.
Floating.
It's not a reflection.
Yeah.
It's not
Exactly.
A
It's
reflection.
the only time in the whole movie that you don't really see him in a reflection.
No, but he's there.
He's there.
He is there.
And he is
Because the
slaughtering.
body is probably fresh.
He
you know?
is
It's like,
slaughtering everybody.
He's slaughtering the cops.
Oh yeah, he's slaughtering the whole squad that came in and shot him, and
Leaves her. The detective gets out of the car. He goes around a corner. She gets out. She follows. We see Candyman
swarm around
you
bees.
see Candyman. His bees are just swarming. But the thing is, was that Anthony McCoy? Was that Abdul's voice or was that Tony Todd's voice? Do you think?
I think it was Abdul.
I think it was Abdul's voice.
I think it was. It sounded very similar.
So
if it wasn't, I was sitting there thinking the whole time. So there is, and I could be wrong, but I believe at the very beginning of the original Candyman, he makes that kind of speech, like
Yeah,
"I'm
does.
in your whatever. I'm
I'm
sweets to
there,
the sweet.
yeah.
I'm here. I'm everywhere. I'm in your dreams." And so as the movie's ending, you're hearing that same sort of monologue. That you hear the same sort of monologue, and it's almost as if they almost got both of their voices and smashed them together.
Yeah.
They almost got Yaya's voice and made it sound like Tony Todd's voice. And then she turns the corner and she sees a swarm of bees. She sees Candyman that looks like Anthony McCoy, and he obviously comes up to the lieutenant that was being a piece of shit, slaughters him. The bees kind of fade away, and who's behind all the bees?
So the opening monologue, I'm just going to say that out loud.
Yeah, say it.
They will say, I have shed innocent blood. What's blood for if not for shedding?
Yes.
With my hook for hand, I'll split you from your knob to your gullet. And that's it. Apparently.
Yep. I mean, yeah. So he's a very poetic man. So, like I said, she turns the corner. The bees, this bee guy, Candyman, got the lieutenant.
I came for you.
Yeah, I came for you.
Yeah.
He got the lieutenant. He's got the bad lieutenant that put her in the car and told her this is how it's gonna be. And he pretty much gets slaughtered, and the bees
the bees get away from his face.
And
you
who is
see
it?
Tony Todd.
And it's Tony Todd.
Daniel.
Goodbye.
It's Daniel.
Yep.
It's Daniel.
It's the original Candyman.
It's Tony Todd. And what does he say to her?
Spread the word. Spread my name.
Spread the word.
Spread the story.
Tell
everyone. Tell everyone. Tell everyone about me. Meaning, I mean, but that just goes. It's like that just goes. As Candyman is an urban legend. That's
it's an
real.
Urban legend. It's a folklore.
Spread it even more.
Spread it
Confuse
more.
even more people.
Yeah.
Allow me to live. Allow me to thrive.
Forever.
Yes. And now, one thing we didn't talk about, and I feel like this is a good time to talk about because it sums it up. Know how we talked about that baby that got kidnapped and put into the fire? You figure out really close to the end that our main character, Anthony McCoy, Yahya Abdul-Mateen II, is that baby. He is that baby that got abducted by Candyman, and that's when he figures out that Helen Lyle isn't what the legend is.
Yeah.
It is that she was actually a hero, and that she saved his life. And if it wasn't for her, there would be no Anthony, and that's when he really is. Maybe that's the climax. Maybe that's the climax of the movie is that
that's really
you find out that he's the baby.
You find out that he's the baby, and like whatever happened in the 1999 version is going to happen, right?
Yep.
The 1992 version, it's going to happen regardless because the Candyman gets what he wants.
Yeah,
he's been searching for the baby the whole time, right? Searching and searching and searching. But the thing that's left out is Helen Lyle as the folklore legend.
Yeah.
You know, like you get it, right? But you don't get the fact that in the 1992 version, he called out her name, and she murdered him. Yeah. You don't get that. But that's so, like, it's okay not to get it, because Virginia Madsen probably didn't want to do it. No. She's old, you know? Like, they would have had to do what they did to Tony Todd.
Well, they did. Okay, I don't know if you saw it. When he's sitting there and he goes into the library, and he's like, I want all the stuff that you have done by Helen Lyle.
Yeah.
And he's listening to her. That's all stuff that's new. That's not in the original movie.
That's the voice.
So she did lend her voice.
Yeah, she did.
She lent her voice to it, which is cool enough for me.
That's awesome.
I think that's cool.
That's awesome as hell.
I'm glad they got Tony Todd back.
She didn't want to appear on screen.
She didn't.
No, she didn't want to.
She said that she did not want to.
I don't know. The last thing I remember her being in was Swamp Thing. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
She was in Swamp Thing, like the DC
show.
TV series. That was the last thing that I remember her being in.
Yeah. She's also, I think she's in The Hunting Connecticut, and I think she's an accomplished
She's amazing. She's a great actress.
Yeah.
She's so fantastic. It's just,
I just threw this.
I would have loved.
I just threw this and broke the shit out of it.
I would have loved the continuation of that urban legend.
Yeah, I would have. Well, the thing is now, this is the one horror movie that I didn't get sequel bait vibes out of it.
No.
You don't need to have a sequel to this.
You don't need. No, it's a complete story.
It's a complete story, start to finish. I like what it did. It wraps it up nicely. It also continues it nicely. Meaning, he's an urban legend. His story continues to go. And
urban legends will be talked about forever.
Forever, and the things will be changed, but. Yeah, that was Candyman.
That was Candyman.
I mean, that's Candyman. I can't.
Candyman 2021.
Without going through every beat and every step of the movie, I'm trying to think of anything that we didn't cover or didn't talk about.
That was it, really. We covered.
Would you recommend this movie to people that have not seen the original Candyman?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it tells the story, right? It tells the story in the very beginning, and then it just continues on, and then later on it'll tell the story again. And then it'll rehash it. It'll tell the story again. It doesn't leave anyone that's like new to the series hanging.
Yeah, no. I mean, I had multiple people that wanted to come with me, or multiple people that want to come watch it with us, and they were like, what about? I haven't seen the original one. I was like, yeah, I guess it's a good idea.
It was told you the story, really.
But now watching it, it's like, trust me, I'm pretty sure they realize people are not going to know the original one, so we got to have that plot,
Yep.
Exposition.
You gotta have the exposition, but they do it multiple times in the fucking movie.
They do it multiple times with little shadow figures.
The shadow puppets was the coolest fucking.
It's a cool,
addition.
really that was a really cool addition. You're not seeing these flashbacks. That was one of the things about the original trilogy, that they just showed so many flashbacks in it.
Yeah.
And I guess we'll shout out to Dead Meat James A. Janisse, because I can't say I've seen the third one. I watched the third one through.
I can't see a scene second or third, and I don't care about
the third.
those.
Yeah, I'm never gonna see the third one. It's just TNA and gore, So, but that's one thing I did grab from Dead Meat's kill counts on this trilogy. Great channel, check him out if you've never seen him count some kills. But the flashbacks get shittier and shittier and shittier, and then it's just like, oh my god, flashback after flashback, and then it's like, well, this flashback. You said that they hunted him down, they chopped off his arm, and then put honey, and now this flashback's now saying they put him on like a stake.
Yeah. And
it's like, all right, whatever. But
What's
this one, they deal with the flashbacks in a very abstract, artistic way, where it's little puppets, little shadow puppets, in front of like a little lantern or a little light, and it adds the aesthetic. It's cool. The music in this was cool. Probably not as cool as the original trilogy, but there was some cool stuff in it.
I actually wanted to tell you the name of this guy.
But I would recommend this movie to anybody, really.
I would recommend it to fucking anybody.
If you like horror movies and you like some good slasher movies and you like some kills.
Music by Robert A. Lowell.
Okay.
Who is like apparently a really great jazz artist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of jazz in that movie. I think my favorite part of this movie was I got to see a lot of hipsters get killed.
Yeah. You get two hipsters.
You get two hipsters killed.
You get a chick with blue hair just like fucking knocked out of her sense, and she's wearing a Joy Division shirt, which like Yeah.
that was a little too on. She was like, love will tear us apart. He's like, we get it. You like Joy Division. And
That
she's
was funny.
wearing a Joy Division shirt.
Exactly. But that's funny though.
That is
Because
funny.
it's comedy in a way that like they know,
We
that
get it.
people
You're a
like this
hipster.
Or like, yeah, they're like that, Because I like Joy Division,
Yeah.
but I'm not going to be like, like everyone fucking like.
Yeah,
listen to
love
Joy
is gonna
Division.
tear us apart.
Because like if you listen to Joy Division, you're at a time in your fucking life where like you're not really hitting on the right notes.
Yeah.
Because they're very depressive.
Yeah.
They're sad.
Yeah.
And if you wanna listen to Joy Division, just listen to New World.
Yeah.
No, New Order.
New
Sorry.
Order. Yeah.
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 Go back and listen to fucking
That was
Echo
one
in the
thing
Bunny,
I really
you know?
appreciated. It really made hipsters look bad. It made them look like pretentious assholes,
Yeah.
which more often they are. They are.
They are.
So it was good. I just really like that scene where everyone's just like, I don't get his art. I don't get it.
But it makes so much sense. Like, his art actually makes sense.
His art's too simple. It was great seeing hipsters get some blood spilled. I liked it. I approve of it. I give this movie an absolute thumbs up for sure.
I give it like 5 bags popcorn.
5 bags of pop. Yeah, I'd give it. If we're doing the whole on cinema route, I'm gonna give it. Obviously, I'll give it a 5 bagger, and you add some honeycomb cereal to it.
Yeah. Some Cheerios.
Some Honey Nut Cheerios. yeah. I give it 5. I give it 5 boxes of Honey Nut Cheerios.
Anyway, I guess this has been Zero Drunk 30.
Yeah, I guess that's all we have to say about Candyman. This is Zero Drunk 30, ZD30.
Again, I'm gonna, even though I hate doing this, like, comment, subscribe, and most importantly, tell everyone.
Yeah. Spread my name. Tell everyone.
Tell everyone.
Spread it. Zero Drunk 30 can be an urban legend that's real, just like Candyman. Just gotta spread it around.
I mean, if it's an urban legend, that means we fall out.
Okay, yeah, we're not an urban legend. We're real. You please don't forget about us.
We're gone.
Don't forget about us. We don't disappear like an urban legend. But yes, as the words of the Candyman, tell everyone.
Tell everyone.
About Zero Drunk 30 and
about
how,
us.
and how,
about how like cool we are.
and how
like,
cute of a podcast it is.
I mean, imagine we just been talking for like nonstop for like a little while drinking like, fuck.
I'm drinking Bud Light seltzers out
Dude,
of
my El
Alfred.
Chingon was here from last time. Now that's something.
El Chingon from the last
That's a
episode.
callback. That's a callback.
Callback.
Right
Callback.
Well,
Wow, 2 episodes in, we already got callback.
What's this card? That's a poker guide.
Oof.
Anyway, like, comment, and subscribe.
Like, comment, subscribe, tell everybody about Zero Drunk 30. I'm Kyle.
I'm Richard.
And we will see you next time on Zero Drunk 30. Stay thirsty, my friends.